All right, all right. Peace, family. We are here. We are live. The trio. We need to come up with a group name, man. You know how they got the the groups, man. What's the Temptations and stuff, and the we need a group name, man. We need to
Yeah, yeah.
start making music together and stuff, man.
Oh yeah,
Listen,
we
man,
got to.
family, thank you for tuning in. We about to get started. It's gonna be a real fun night tonight. It's gonna be real fun because we're gearing up for something historic that is taking place this Saturday, January 7th. We're excited. We want to answer a lot of questions from the people who have already bought tickets. We want to continue to have conversation about
Yeah.
what's going on. And let's get to this commercial real quick, and we'll be right back, family. Right back.
Are you ready to win? Are you seeking the best in life? Are you seeking to raise your vibration? Are you seeking to no longer drift, but move gently towards your goals? Billy Carson and myself will be presenting sacred information about finances, how to be wealthy, how to be healthy, be wise. Many people have been asking, what is God power? God power is when you are now co-creating your life. You're living life on purpose. You're not waiting for things to happen. You're making things happen. You're letting go of the past, letting go of the things that were holding you back, letting go of the things that were heavy in your life, and raising your vibration and taking everything you have and moving it towards a destination. You are a winner. You were born a winner. It's time to tap into the winning circle. Become the winner's circle. You are the champion. All you need is the blueprint for the God power that's already in you.
Let me plug my charger in here, family.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. So shout out to everybody in the chat. I see we had 1,000 already. People in the chat room. So I guess we could get started. Yeah. Shout out to everybody who got their ticket. Oh, somebody in the chat earlier. Uh, I hear feed. An echo from somebody. Is that?
I'm here all by myself.
Oh, you didn't hear that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So check it out. Shinobi Dragon. I did get your email earlier, and I sent the list. Oh, Shadow the Dragon Shinobi. I did get your email, so I got that your email right. You explained it to me, and I sent the email over to Billy Carson. Did you get the list of the ticket winners, Billy?
I got the list of the ticket where I've been grinding and working all day, and I just got off of another video.
Yeah.
After we get off this video, I'm going to input your ticket winners into the ticket software for Eventbrite. Eventbrite will then send them all the links and everything else that they need. And I'm also going to go into the Eventbrite email service and send the link out myself tonight as well to everyone. So everyone will have the link. The people who won tickets will have their links as well. Everybody's going to have a great time. We're all going to get in.
Yeah, so tickets, the sale ends Saturday. So y'all have until Saturday, I believe 12 noon. I'm not sure, but it ends on Saturday.
Yeah.
Another thing is, remember, family, that it starts at 11, not 12. I know on some of the flyers it still says 12.
Yeah.
What happened was Dr. B wanted to give y'all an extra hour because he wanted to over deliver on his presentation. So it's actually a bonus. The original contract was for us to start at 12, but he's giving you a bonus. That is an important question. We're gonna get to that. I want to show y'all something real quick. This is amazing. You know what I like about this show and about spirituality is when synchronicity happens sometime, and people get to see the universe do its magic. So I did a show yesterday with a sister named Isis Wisdom. And the name of the show was The Fragile Veil Between the Worlds. So we was talking about how the veil is thinning and how it's easier between the two worlds to interact with each other at this point. So while she was talking, in an hour mark, you see an orb fly by her head just like that. And it's
Wow.
photo camera. So I want to show y'all because this is just fun. This is fun to me. So I like doing stuff like this. But I'm gonna play it for y'all real quick, y'all. It's an orb and it flies right overhead.
Wow.
Yeah. I think after she says something about animals or something like that. So check this out, y'all. This is like spirituality in real time, or the spirit world showing itself in real time. And we was talking about the thin veil. So check this out. Hold up. Let me share this. I said I had to show this before we start because this is just fun to me. And I get to ask y'all what y'all think it is, and y'all get to tell me. Y'all two are experts. So all right. Let me see. Do y'all see that on the screen? Okay. Where was it? Damn, 116. Okay. I check this out here. Right here, y'all. Check it out.
Oh,
Y'all seen it? Y'all seen it?
I saw it go across. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that one more time for people who didn't catch. All right, check it out, y'all. Dr. B, you seen that?
I didn't see it.
It comes from the right side to the left side. It's on the right side, and it goes left.
Right to left. Right about the same height of her head.
Yeah.
At the top of her head.
Above her head. Like you see my mouse? Do you see?
Yes,
the mouse?
yes.
Like, everybody look right around here. It's gonna come here and then it's gonna stop right here. It's gonna come out of nowhere. It's gonna come out of nowhere right here, and then it'll stop right here. All right.
There you go.
Yeah, I saw it.
You seen it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now let me ask y'all, what do y'all think that was, man? Yeah, and people say, that's I like stuff like that. I get off on stuff like that, man, because it's like we're talking about the veil, and it's like the spirit is showing itself. What do y'all think that was right there? That's quite interesting. For something to appear out of nowhere.
I was trying to see if it was a bug, because a lot of times it could, things like that could be bugs, but it's kind of strange that it wasn't dark enough to be a bug, and then it moved really fast and it stopped, but then it wasn't a bug when it stopped. So pretty interesting. I would be curious to see what that could have been. I have no idea.
What about you, Dr. B? What you think about stuff like that?
Well, I know that there are all kinds of things happening right here around us that are, our visual spectrum, we can't really see it until certain times. So there's things that's moving faster than light. There's things that's moving that are shadowy. There's so much life happening in every space. Nothing is empty. So, there's these things happening all the time, but almost, what has happened is since children, we kind of been programmed out of seeing things.
Yeah.
You see something, they tell you didn't see nothing. Go in there and read your Bible. You're on punishment now.
You're right.
There's
a lot.
But when you start opening up, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot to see and there's a lot to feel and experience.
Yeah.
Now let me one more question about real quick question about that. Now, Billy, do you think, and Dr. B, now we've seen it, do you think depending on your level of conscious, some people, even though we're telling them it was there, they still can't see it because they have a certain level of consciousness? Or do you think everybody should be able to see it on the video?
It's very possible that some people can't see it. It could be slightly out of their range of visual acuity. Like Dr. B was talking about, we human beings only see 1% of the light spectrum. That's a tiny, tiny bit. And depending on the cones and rods in your eyes, you might not be able to see even certain things like what we just saw. So certain people spiritually might not be able to see it, or even just visually, physically not be able to see it. We can't see gamma rays, X-rays, infrared, all these other light waves that exist all around us. We just can't see them. We can only see 1%. If we could see everything that was going on, we'd probably freak out. It's just too much input.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely. Yeah. So we're going to get to some questions, answer some questions people have about the workshop. But before we do that, I just want to talk to y'all gentlemen. Ask y'all gentlemen something real quick. A couple of questions. So the name of the show is Avatar DreamWorld. And, the ancestor said this is like a dream world we're living in. And we're using we're functioning through it, navigating it through it with an avatar. One of the main things in this realm, in this dream, that harms the avatar is stress. Now, this is something that gets overlooked, but it is extremely important. I was listening to Bruce Lipton, and Bruce Lipton said something real interesting that I didn't know. He said that a patient who's about, because the stress hormones, they shut down the immune system.
Yep.
So because they have to prepare the body for fight or flight. So if the energy is in the gut, things start moving, and now you got more energy in your hands and your legs just in case you got to run or whatever. So he's saying that when a patient is getting an organ organ transfer implant or whatever you call it, they will inject that patient with stress hormones to shut down the immune system in order for the body to accept the organ. Otherwise, the body might try to fight against the foreign organ that's going into their body. Now, I thought that was mind-blowing. The fact that stress hormone could be therapeutic if you're getting an operation, because it's such a bad MFer that it will shut your whole system down so somebody could come and implant something in you. Now, that's a hell of a thing. Hell of a thing huge for us to pay attention to when it comes to using this avatar. Because we're trying to figure out, well, what does my avatar like, what it doesn't like? Stress, it does not like. So talk to me about what y'all think about what Bruce Lipton said, man. That's like amazing.
Well, shout out to Bruce Lipton. He's a class act. He was talking about epigenetics 20 years ago, and people were in his own peers, his own scientific peers, were laughing at him, calling him crazy, death threats, the whole works. And now, of course, he's revered because epigenetics has been proven as being taught in mainstream universities now. So he was light years ahead of his time in all the stuff that he does. And what he's talking about is so real, which is why the mainstream media utilizes fear tactics on TV. They pump fear nonstop to get the stress up in the human body, to drop your immune system so that you can get sick. And we know what the end result was, that people make money when you get sick. But so it's a whole cycle. They figured out the psyche and the programming code to send out from the television and the radio to keep you in this sickened state by increasing your stress levels. And when you look at what an avatar is, it's really an attack on God. That's what this stress, what they're pumping is an attack on God. And because an avatar is the manifestation of a deity and a released soul. So you're a deity, you're a god inside of a physical corporeal body. Okay, that's what the actual definition is. It also says that you're an incarnate of a divine teacher. That's what an avatar is. You're an incarnate of a divine teacher, and you're the manifestation of a deity released into a body. So we are special God-like beings. We are God. The only way for us to continue to be tricked and duped is they got to pump the fear. So that's why when you turn the news on, everything is just fear. Everything is a bad story. Everything is a sad story. Everything is negative. Everything is harsh. Everything is the world's coming to an end. It's the end of days is what they're preaching to you in the what do you call that? The churches and stuff. And so everybody's all full of fear. All their immune systems are dropping. And what does that open you to? It opens you to dis-ease, which converts into disease.
Indeed.
And Bruce Lipton was the one who changed my direction. I was an herbalist only, musician and herbalist. And when I discovered him, he's the one that said, hey, man, look, if you'd like to change the way your system works, you need to go study psychological kinesiology. And he kind of pushed me towards looking at this whole thing of the cells and the genes receiving this information from outside. Now, our environment, right, is what's programming the genes. If your environment is always, dangerous, it's always trouble, it's always drama, even if it's just on television. Because, see, your subconscious mind cannot perceive or conceive of anything outside of itself. This is very important. Here you are watching a movie, and a bear pops up on the movie. It's just a movie. You're sitting there eating your popcorn. It's just entertainment. Your subconscious, your body is programmed to know that bears, right, could be detrimental to your health. your adrenaline begins to pump, cortisol begins to pump just from watching that. And look at the movies, the movies that sell the best today always have drama and blood and gore and fighting. So you're constantly pumping, this adrenaline and this cortisol because you're supposed to be running from these things. So look at the deer. The deer is eating, its heartbeat is normal, and it sees a wolf. Its blood pressure goes up. Its immune system stops working for a minute. All the blood goes to its extremities so it could get away from the wolf. Now, what's really deep is once it is away from the wolf, because wolves can't catch most deer, by the way, unless they got a lame leg or there's, something's going on with them. They're old, or they're too young to run. Once the deer realizes the wolf has stopped chasing them, heartbeat goes back to normal, cortisol goes down, and they go back to eating. They don't sit all day and think about there's bad wolves out there. Right. Imagine if the whole herd of wolves, all they talked about was how bad the deer were. They could never be 100% deer.
Right.
You see, these deers are jumping. They could jump over a 12-foot wall if they need to. You know what I'm saying? If they're being themselves. But most people are shocked out of their body. People are shocked out of themselves. They're having an out-of-body experience because of the mindset that they've been given. They've been told it's a struggle out there. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. They're chasing you. It's always about them. It's about the devil. And we're not looking at ourselves and realizing that we are the godness. It is in us. It's in every cell. And we can create any state that we like. Yep. But once we stop talking about them and they and start looking at what we are doing, what can we do? Like right now, we've got the three of us here only talking about what? Fixing things, changing things.
Solutions.
Possibilities, solutions. Now, if 80% of your language is about the problem, which is the language of today, that's how you talk when you hook up with folks. First thing you do is talk about the problems. So now 80% of the time, your immune system is not working. You're in stress response. And when you're in stress response, you're dying.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You hit it on the head, man. That's true. That's
from a personal experience, real quick, y'all. I remember I was doing YouTube shows during the Obama administration, and I had a weekly show with Professor Griff, and we would cover a lot of current events. And there was so many when Obama came into office, they started publicizing so many police shootings. Like you would see one happen a couple every year. That's when Mike Brown, a whole bunch of them happened. Alton, Matt, I forgot the rest of their names, but a whole bunch of police shooters on TV. So I'm like reporting it on my channel, and it's like inside I don't feel right. Not that I don't want to talk about it, but just constantly talking about the police shootings. And I stopped looking at them, but I would still talk about it, but it was still getting to me. Like it didn't feel good. So when you melanated and you see them constant images on the TV, on the media of somebody being Rodney King, Abner Louima, a plunge up the ass with the police, the NYPD. That can be draining on your psyche. That could be like, and you wonder why a woman got so many fibroids. That has a lot to do with stress too. So I just want to show people, and I had to stop doing them shows. I stopped doing them shows. I agreed that I wasn't going to engage in that. I know what it is. I know what I incarnated down here, what program is down here, whatever we want to call it. But I also understand that I have the power to override that program. So it's a program. I came down here and I'm pretending I'm black, and I'm pretending something called white supremacy exists. I'm not saying it's not part of the collective consciousness, but what I'm saying, family, is that you could override that. Your God power, this blueprint they're going to tell you is greater than anything, y'all. White supremacy, anything. It's the shit, y'all. I'm telling y'all. It's the shit.
It's interesting because when you watch, what was happening back in Rome and Greece, even Caesar's talking about how all you got to do is keep the people afraid. You can control the people by giving them a language of disempowerment. Right. People speak of, we speak a language of being lack. We don't have enough and we're poor. Even though sometimes you're wealthy, you feel like, something's going to get you. But when you have been raised in that, you have been born in sin. Which means you were born missing the mark, because sin is an archery term. It doesn't mean you're evil. It just means that your parents, and it was the way they talk. This is the way the family is. You go to the family reunion or the holiday, and it's just about, drama. Interesting. I was just at a holiday event a couple of days ago with Billy.
Yeah.
Right. We created our own situation. I didn't hear one talk of disagreeable what was happening. It was amazing to be around people that were all talking about what can we do? What do we need to do now? How can we build? What do you have? You know, you got a plug, I got a plug. What's happening over here? But when you're programmed to just talk about the drama, like the news, they say in the news, if it bleeds, it leads. If the story bleeds, it leads. So you feel that your world is bad, it's terrible, and epigenetically your cells are receiving that call. Your telomeres are picking up the telephone. The telomeres are like telephones, like antennas. Hey, we got drama. You know, our life expectancy isn't so good. So, you know, right around 60, 70, we need to have our own heart attack us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's, you know, we can't live 160 years like this. So a lot of folks, you know, we're in nutritional suicide, mental suicide. We're killing ourselves, and we don't realize that it's a program. But now we can break that spell because the 2,000 years of that is gone. We're in a whole other age now. So we got to get rid of the drama and the dross and the vapor from the last age, and now break into this new time in this 2023, which is a 7, which means that we are responsible and we are godness. We are the God power.
Yeah, it's time to win. I want to add something to that too, because you're right on. And we did have such a great time here at the New Year's party at my house. I think we had 45 people there. Everybody was positive, uplifting, motivated, inspirational. And, I had 140 glasses, wine glasses and champagne flukes. Not one glass broke. Nobody disrespected my couches, my house, my furniture. Nothing was damaged, broken, It needed to be clean afterwards because it was a party. But other than that, everything was in pristine condition. The mindset of the people you keep in your inner circle, they all have to be in the same frequency, you see? And so, but, a lot of people who are outside of that circle are these people who it's the end times. And somebody today was talking in a restaurant, we're in the end of days and, the Lord is coming back soon and all this kind of foolishness. And I'm saying to myself, no, we're not even close to the end of days. The end of days aren't even close. It's the opposite. It's the best time to be alive. Even with Russia, Ukraine, people being sold as slaves in Libya, what's going on in China, it's still the best time to be alive. There's the least amount of people are being killed and murdered and slaughtered right now than ever before on this planet. People forgot about the Black Plague, the bubonic plague, which almost wiped out humanity completely. We forgot about the papal inquisitions, where under the order of the Pope, they killed over 80 million people on this planet to bring Christianity to the world.
That's deep.
Okay? They did it through rape, killing, murdering. They would take the chief of a village, hang him up, beat him, kill him, burn him at the stake, and say, now you guys learn our religion or this will happen to you. By the second generation, it's just bred right into you, right? Then you forget about the American Holocaust, where the Europeans came over here and killed 111 million indigenous people. 111 million people ain't dying right now. In 70 years, they killed 111 million. That's millions of people dying per month. So we're talking about catastrophe after catastrophe that happened on this planet. And right now, when you look around, yes, there are things going on here and there, some skirmishes and some wars and some things like that, but it still isn't close to what actually happened in many different occurrences on this planet. The end time should have came a long time ago, if that was a fact. The end time should have been happened. We're not close to any end time. So take the end times mindset and toss it in the trash. It's fake. We're not in the end times. We're in the up times. It's all about how you perceive. It's time for us to realize that this earth is heaven. We are already living on heaven. It's up to us to turn this earth into a heaven and stop waiting to die so you can live.
Excellent. I want to, I think something that, both of y'all are touching on is important. The whole aspect of who you are. We always talk about diet and our food and our health, but we don't realize how important that health is with who we entangle with. You know, they got something called entanglement. You know, you could be committed. Look at Dr. B's eyes. You could be committed entanglement suicide. You talk about nutritional suicide. You could be committing entanglement suicide by who you hang around with. That's a food source as well. So we definitely gotta, when we talk about our God power, we gotta be careful about who we hang around with.
Yes,
definitely.
Well, you know, if you'd like to be successful, you need to be on the road with those who are moving towards success, or be with people who are successful. See, a lot of times the people that you're talking to and asking for validation or opinions are poor, broke, lonely, and they live in this not enoughness, and they're victocrats. And you ask them about an idea you got a genius idea that just popped up. Oh man, you shouldn't do that because see, my uncle lost his shirt, his socks, his wife, and the dog because he did the same thing. Man, I wouldn't do that, man. What you need to do is, and these people have no actual experience. See, you have a person who just has references about things, right? Then there's a thing called a referent. A referent is an actual experience. You were actually there. It's like, you know, you can say whatever you'd like about Billy, but I was with Billy for the weekend. I watched him. I was in his house. We went through every room of his house. He opened up the door. He said, they were like, look in the closet. Look in the closets. I'm not opening my closet when neighbors come. You know what I'm saying?
And we did though.
And you know, and let me tell you something. I got to tell you this piece. We're walking out, and Billy and I are standing. I look at the bricks to his house. I said, man, what kind of bricks are these? He said, oh, it's crystals. Crystals? What the hell are you talking about?
Wow.
They took crystals and crushed them and made them into bricks. He's living in a crystal house. And all over the neighborhood is pyramids with water and fountains. And, you know, the people at the store were just so, hi, how are you? Good day. It's a wonderful day, isn't it? But when you surround yourself with the energy that you would like to live in, your body, right? Your cells are listening to your voice, listening to what you're eating, what you're saying. There's 7 oceans in the body, 7 different types of fluids in the body. And, you know, information travels faster through liquid than it does through air. So you're sending a pulse wave every second of the day of what you desire, what you're moving towards, what you feel about things. And if you're living in Passville, you know, it's like think about what it takes to live in Passville. The time traveling, you talking about, I don't believe in time traveling. Then you start talking about the past. I said, listen, you time traveling right now. You brought up all the emotions from 1973 to today. And they're there. I mean, the body doesn't know that it's not real. So we're creating these states. So one of the things that we're going to talk about on Saturday is that you have to be the genie. You're the genie in the bottle, which is the body, and how you can create the state based on the first step you make when you get out of the bed, what you do when you go to sleep at night. And when you have this blueprint of what to do and how it actually works, and you have the tools for ascension. People talk about ascension. Actually, you know, the average person hasn't even woken up yet. They're not, even when you say I'm woke, a lot of times you're still not wide awake. So it's about ascending into your body and using your avatar, right? The way it could be used. Imagine you got a brand new car, but you don't have the key. So you just get with your friends, and on the weekend, y'all sit it and drink beers. You see, but you don't drive it. You can turn on the stereo. So we have only been using maybe 10% of our abilities. Just with the 3 of us coming together has changed everything. I mean, for me, my own self, my family, personally, knowing that there's people that we could talk to, because we could get together and talk, and we're from 3 different backgrounds, but we all have come to a point to what? Help folks go to the next step, and we all have different specialties. So we're bringing it together. Now imagine what we're going to do after Saturday. We're going to create more and more communities of people coming together. Let's have think tanks. You know what we need. I'm down with the secret society or the sacred society. I see why they had them. They don't have to be evil. You think they're evil? They weren't all evil. Like money isn't evil. Think about that concept. Money is evil. It's the root of all evil. No, your mind is the root of all evil. So, you know, we're creating that God power by just coming together and combining everything that we have, just like they took those crystals it made Billy's bricks. My mind is still blown on that. I said, I think I got a picture of that and it's just sparkling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Never
They sparkle. They sparkle. You got to have. I'm in a Crystal Palace, man. I'm blessed, man. I'm really blessed. But I had the conscious thoughts, and the difference between me and a lot of people is I put the action behind the thoughts. Conscious thought backed by action equals manifestation.
Whew. Say it again.
That's what it is. And a lot of people don't get that. You know what I'm saying? They think I'm going to focus on it and then I'm going to sit back. You got to put in some action because manifestation is the properties of energy exchange. Without the energy exchange, nothing's going to happen. This phone started out in the multidimensional platform in somebody's mind, multidimensional, collapsed into a two-dimensional structure by drawing it out on a piece of paper, putting it into a computer-assisted design, CAD. That's still 2D. After they tweaked it and got it where they want it, then they sent it to an engineer. The engineer then takes and stacks the atoms because you don't make anything. You just take the existing atoms and stack them, turns it into a three-dimensional object that can move around on an XYZ axis. It was manifested from conscious thought, but that took an energy exchange. This is what we're going to be talking about. How do you create things? How do you create and control your own reality? How do you understand the power that you have and then alchemically convert that into something that you want to manifest? This is going to be a powerful workshop. I'm looking forward to this.
No, for real. You told me you said that on my platform. Let me just put the link. The link is actually pinned at the top of the chat, family. I advise all of y'all not to miss Saturday, January 7th. I seen somebody write, we didn't get our works. Nobody got their workbooks. Of course, nobody got their workbook. We said specifically that we are sending out the workbooks on Friday. On Friday, everybody will get it by Friday night, family. So don't worry about it. Everybody will get their workbooks by Friday night. Let me go into a question about the workshop before we continue, Billy, before I forget. What's confusing for a lot of people who got tickets, what they want to know is, do they have to log into Forbidden Knowledge TV to see the event? How does the login process work? Because you're sending them a link and something is saying log in. What exactly is going on with that, Billy?
They don't have to log in to watch it. So basically what happens is when the event goes live, the link that is sent out from Eventbrite, also we're going to send you the link as well, just to double, make sure everybody's got the link. As long as you paid your Eventbrite fee to get your ticket, when you click on that link, it's going to take you right into the workshop. There's no additional login. The only login you have to do is log into Eventbrite, your Eventbrite account. Other than that, that's it. And when you go back to our event page on Eventbrite, the day of the event, Eventbrite puts a button up that says join the live event. You click on that, it's the same link. It takes you right into the live stream and you're already in there. There's nothing else for you to click, nothing else for you to log in, nothing else for you to register for. You don't have to sign up for Forbidden Knowledge TV. Even though it's hosted on our platform, it's on a private link just for us, unlimited replays. You don't have to register for it at all. Now, if you want to get Forbidden Knowledge TV, you can sign up and watch all the other shows, but this link is a special link just for this live event.
And I also probably within 2 to 3 days after the event, I will send everybody a downloadable version of the event as well. If you don't want to have to go to Forbidden Knowledge to see it, you could just have it on your hard drive and do whatever you want to do with it because you paid for it. It's yours. So you will have the link to watch it permanently or Forbidden Knowledge. And within 2 to 3 days after the workshop, everybody will get the downloadable link as well. All right, family.
Brother Rich will. I'm sorry, 1 second, Dr. B. What will happen is after we're done with the live, it takes about 2 hours to encode because it's going to be 10 hours of video encoding all at once, like YouTube. When you get done, it encodes. Once it's encoded, then it'll be a downloadable file. It's going to be so large, we'll probably have to break it into 3 or 4 videos and put them on a Dropbox link for Brother Rich, and then he will have access to the video as well.
See, this is, I just want to, maybe I shouldn't show this, but I'm sure this is the type of energy we're going to get away from this year. And it shows what's in a person's heart. We just mentioned Billy's, the crystal brick. Somebody writes crystal brick. So what? Do we really need to hear that? We don't need that type of energy on this channel. And that serves as motivation and inspiration to all of us. I'm extremely motivated when I heard that. And
they didn't understand. They didn't get that correct message.
And it's something that you don't hear about every day. You should be proud to hear a black man living on that type of high vibrational level. You hear about the magic of crystals, so I'm gonna have to get rid of that person. I'm sorry, but we don't need that type of energy on that channel. I'm extremely, and let me tell you something, fam. Let me just say this: how important inspiration is. Inspiration is everything. It's absolutely. I think Nipsey Hussle said that's the best thing you could do is inspire somebody. So, family, y'all on YouTube looking for all these deep answers and solutions when life is so simple. If you want to raise your frequency, one of the simplest things you can do for free, if you ain't got money for this workshop, the first thing you do is get around somebody who inspires you. That's one thing you do. If you're too cheap to buy a ticket or you can't, or whatever the case may be, and you want to raise your vibration, just get around somebody who inspires you, and don't be like that person who just said that in the chat, because that right there will block your blessings. Because when you ask for something, the first thing the universe does is put somebody in front of you who has what you want. At that point, you have two choices: to hate on that person or embrace what that person has. The latter will get you success. The first one, it'll block your blessings. That's what I'm saying about that.
I've got to speak on this. The reason why I mentioned the crystal bricks well, it had nothing to do with the monetary. It had to do with we're made of crystals. Every part of us is crystalline. Your home, right? Which is you. Home means you. It doesn't mean your house. Your home is crystalline. We are crystals. We're made of crystal bricks, crystal cells. You know, this whole matrix that we're made of is really intricate. And most of the things that you see in the electronic world are based on us. When you look at a chip, an integrated circuit, and you look down on the Giza Plateau, or you look at certain cities, those are the IC chips. Those are the chips. Everything is made based on us. So my point is, if you realize that you're living in a crystal home, you don't need the outside look of your home to have that. You can imagine it. And what we're saying is, if you can use your imagination, which is the most powerful thing next to science itself, even more powerful than science, because science comes from what? Imagination. When you are a nation of genies, when you know your I am and what you are and what you won't do, and once you begin to mind your business, because a lot of people don't know how to mind their business. We're going to talk about that in class. Why are you minding somebody else's business? But there is a way to look at what somebody else has and says, oh, wow, I'd like to have that too. Billy, where'd you get those bricks? We might find out the bricks is free. Do you know, I met this sister from South Africa who's, you know, she was working as a maid. And she said she has a bag, right? A lunch bag full of diamonds. Her father's got a whole, like a linen closet full of diamonds.
Wow.
In South Africa. I said, well, where'd you get them? I said, well, she's everywhere. It's just nothing. Do you know in the diamond is one of the least valued stones because there's so many of them. Now these companies came and said diamonds is a girl's best friend, and they shaped them, and they put, you know, a man has got to have a certain amount of money to marry her and put a rock on it. If you knew where all that science came from and how this is about business, you would realize that you are the diamond, but sometimes you got to put pressure on yourself. You got to go through something. You know what we have gone through even to be here. Each of us, everybody listening has a story. Let that be your crystal. Let that be your dark crystal that you're using to what? Project out and command the universe your desires. It is happening. People are doing it every day. The first cell phone was made by a black man in a village in what you call Africa, Al-Kikulan. So we got to look past all that. And like, you're always going to have people that's going to throw some shade. That's their job. You need a little shade every once in a while. It might get hot.
I'm used to it, man. I'm used to it. I've been getting shade thrown at me since I was a young, successful entrepreneur. You know, I could see people who were quote unquote friends that would be like starting to get a little jealous. Like, man, how you doing this? How you doing that? You know, I used to tell them, look, first of all, I don't drink, smoke, do drugs, hang out, go to clubs. I just saved a lot of money by not doing that alone. Then I also, then I invest, and I invest into myself, and I run businesses, and I invest back into myself, and I invest into other things. So while y'all were spending all this time blowing money and tossing money in clubs and drinking and doing drugs and hanging out and VIP this and VIP that, I was working on myself and building my own empire. And so you had all the fun in the beginning. I sacrificed in the beginning. Now I got this much time to enjoy. You can't even see my hands on the screen no more. Y'all only had this much time to enjoy it. Now you got this much time to struggle.
Damn.
I did it the opposite way because I had vision.
Yeah.
I had vision, you know, so which is one of the things on my board behind me. I got a vision. You see my board back there, Dr. B.
Yep.
And so back to the crystals, though, what you were talking about, and about, you know, we have these crystals, and a human being is just a fractal of the entire whole, right? And if you go now into the newest science studies in quantum physics, which I'll talk about in the workshop, we discovered that there's an 8th dimensional quasi-crystal. And this quasi-crystal, it casts a shadow into a 4th dimensional crystal, which casts a shadow, which is actually a sphere, which is the entire known universe. So the universe that we're in is the shadow being cast by a higher dimensional quasi-crystal. And then at the same time, look at a human being, an avatar body. We have crystals all throughout our body. We have magnetite, billions of magnetite crystals in our brains.
So Billy,
so it's all fractals.
So the universe, I mean, I heard you say that on that YouTube channel, Daily Motivation, and about the world is a shadow of this higher dimension. So if you're talking about this quasi crystal and the world we live in is a shadow of that, what relationship does that quasi crystal have to do with our imagination? Because the world is also a shadow of our imagination. So where's the connection between the imagination and this higher dimensional quasi crystal you're talking about?
Well, what's interesting about crystals is I did a whole special talk on Dame Dash's network when he had his TV network about sentient living crystals, and that crystals are actually alive, and they have all the same things that human beings have. They can reproduce, they can think, they can communicate, they can grow. And so crystals are actually sentient and alive. Crystals have the capability of communicating. And we know this especially, Tesla created the first crystal radio back in the 1800s. And so imagine this quasi-crystal, this 8th dimensional crystal, which probably is housing consciousness and transmitting that through multiple layers of dimensions all the way down to the 3rd dimension. And then we have these avatar bodies that are set up to pick up a specific frequency of that one consciousness and then let it inhabit its avatar body and walk around. So we have this thing called individuality, which is really an illusion. It's only one person here. There's only one mind here. But the mind has been separated into Googles of entities throughout the entire known universe. Google is actually a number, not a search engine, by the way, guys.
That's right.
And so we know this. And so we know that the crystal is transmitting a frequency. And it's like a radio station sending out 99.1, 99.2, 99.3. I'm 0.1, you're 0.2, Dr. B's 0.3, so forth and so on. And we're picking up a specific slight frequency, a point dot number, and it's inhabiting the avatar body, but it's really still coming from one source, which is a higher dimensional crystal. Crystal consciousness, Christ consciousness.
And crystals, that's the Christ is crystallized imagination. When you get into the metaphysics, it's crystallizing your imagination where you're focused on something no matter what somebody else thinks. See, when you get other people's opinions, and you start listening to the world and the naysayers and all of that and what's possible and what's not, that gets you out of being able to project that wave into the quantum field strong enough and consistently enough so you can actually materialize what you're focusing on. But what it takes is the word courage. You have to have courage. Without courage, you're going to give up. Because you're afraid, or you're not strong enough. And I mean, look at the lion. He thought he had to get a certificate or something from the wizard, but he's doing all the courageous stuff. Here you are, you actually have everything you need crystallized inside of you, and your pineal is made of crystal. It's made of calcite crystal strings. which comes online and emits light and energy when you know how to put pressure on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a piezoelectric crystal.
Yeah.
So like we used to go in the studio at times and we would turn off all the lights. The room is totally dark. And I would play bass notes on the bass on the synthesizer until the room glowed.
Mm.
It would blow people's minds. I said, well, what's happening? Oh man, what is that? you see, because people don't realize that these biophotons, right, which is light, living light, is everywhere. And when you get to low frequency sounds, you actually begin to excite them and they move.
That's right.
When you put certain frequencies on certain crystals, like you could take a quartz crystal in the total dark and put it in a vise and just keep squeezing it, you'll see it begin to glow. You see, so when we put that pressure on our pineal by focusing on something we desire, you know, devoid of everybody else's funk and what they think, you got to get them out of your head. So what we're going to do on Saturday is you're going to learn in this one day all the pieces of the puzzle to get yourself to where you'd like to go. Because it's, you know, what spiritual sometimes is just a concept. You know, me, I like quantum physics because that's where spirituality and science come together. I need to see something actually happen. You know, I used to go to these meditation classes and I'd be sitting there and everybody would be having these experiences and I'm breathing and sweating and nothing's happening. They say, well, you know, Mr. B, how do you feel? I says, I don't feel nothing. Nothing at all. So I used to be upset. So I guess I can't meditate, man. I can't hold the Qigong position long enough. You know, I guess I'm a failure. Then I'm going to get home and get on my drums. And I will put a candle in front of my drums because I learned this technique, which I'm going to talk about on Saturday. And I would play my drums and I'd play a rhythm and I would keep playing that same rhythm until I got into a trance state. And all of a sudden I could see a whole nother dimension in the whole another world. Everybody can't do it the same way. So this is why we're going to offer so many different ways to get there. And once you begin to stay with it, you're going to need to stay with this. You can't say, well, I tried 3 times. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work, you know. But once you realize that you are the bank, you're sitting on the bank, you're sitting on your booty, but you can't be around living life half-assed. Imagine you only got one butt cheek, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put a special pillow, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not sitting on what you're not using your vehicle the way you could. Now, we all don't have the answer, but we have pieces. So what we're creating wholeness by bringing pieces together. So, you know, we're inviting all of you to share, you know, get a pencil. You're going to need a real pencil and paper on Saturday. I'm going to tell you that in the class. A pencil and a paper so you can learn how to score. There's a big difference between you typing on this keyboard, right? Then, you know, doing something that's kinesthetic, auditory, and visual, and writing a note. That's why they took writing out of the school, because the folks is waking up. Because all of a sudden you had these children that had gone from indigos to crystal children that, you know, well, you don't want to give them too much music and sound and creativity. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to take all this information so that you can write it down and score your life and begin to be the legend that you came to be.
I love it. I love it, man.
Amazing.
Powerful.
Yeah. Amazing. Super powerful.
Well, man, one thing, by the way, on the crystals, one last thing. If you take a lighter, a lot of people think that lighters make the flame because of some kind of spark. No, what happens when you squeeze that button on the lighter, it strikes and puts pressure on a crystal. That's what's in your lighter. It's a crystal. And that spark comes out of the crystal, and then you have the gas which ignites that creates the flame. Yes. But all lighters run on a crystal. That's how they work.
I never knew that. Learn something new. I never knew that. Wow. Okay. Let me get to this question about the workshop. Hi, Brother Rich. Once we log in, click the link. Can it be streamed or connected to my TV? Because I don't want to watch all the workshop on my phone.
That's a great question. Absolutely, yes. So there's a couple of ways. Is you can start it on your phone. And if your TV has the capability to simulcast, or if you have a Google Chromecast, you can do it that way. The other way to watch it on TV would be to get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app. If you get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app, then you can actually, once you'll have to, then only problem is if you get the app, you have to create an account. You can do a 3-day free trial. If you want to watch it on Apple TV, Roku, Samsung TVs, or the iOS App Store or the Google Play Store. The only other way to do it would be to open it up on a device and then Google Chromecast it to a TV, which can be done as well, or simulcast it. Like I have a Samsung TV and I have a Samsung phone. It's so easy for me to whatever's on my phone, I can just send it right to my TV. So there's ways to do it. I can send whatever's on my laptop, even though it's a Dell, straight to the Samsung TV as well. So you can open it up on your laptop. My laptop is down here, but I'm looking at you guys on TV and back of my camera. So right now, my laptop is actually doing that, the simulcasting to the screen. So you can do the same thing. So there's a lot of ways to do it.
Indeed. Somebody wrote, is it still going to be interactive?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's going to be a live event, interactive. Dr. B has some special techniques and things he's going to ask you guys to do. I have some special techniques and things I'm going to ask you to do as well. It's going to be an interactive workshop.
Indeed.
And we will have Q&A, by the way, as well.
Toward the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, what about people if they sign up, right? Will they be, can they sign up after the event, or is it like after the event starts, is that it?
The tickets go off sale within an hour or two after the event starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. Let's get to another question. I want to get to some questions pertaining to the workshop. Okay. Are the books printable? These are the books we're sending out tomorrow. Are they printable?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, you can print them out. I'm going to send a worksheet, and I'm going to also send an ebook. The ebook has a lot of pages. I'm actually sending a couple of ebooks. So one of them you might not want to print. You better go get about, I don't know. You better go get two or three packs of paper if you're going to print all of it. It's going to be a lot.
Melvin Corey said 12 noon. No, it starts at 11 o'clock, Melvin.
11 a.m. So, yeah, we're going to start at 11 a.m. And by the way, Eventbrite is going to send that email that is starting an hour before. So to send an email 10 a.m. Eastern time, letting people know that it's starting at 11. But I'm going to reiterate to everyone tonight when I drop that email that it's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we didn't get a chance to upgrade the images. The person who does the graphics ended up going on vacation and just got back today. So that's why we didn't get the graphics changed to 11 a.m.
All right. Somebody wrote, how do we get the ebooks?
They'll be sent by email to the email that you signed up on Eventbrite. You will get the link, Dropbox link, so you can download them tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, you'll get the ebooks.
Indeed. Okay. Let's get to the next. Where is the link for the class?
The link for the class will be emailed out to everyone tonight, tomorrow. It'll be emailed by myself. It'll be emailed by Eventbrite. We're going to send it so many times so nobody can say they didn't get the link. But just in case, and you contact customer service, whatever Rich has that for that customer service, he has the link as well in case somebody just for whatever reason just can't find it. He also has a copy of the link as well.
I didn't get it yet, Billy, so I'm gonna need you to send that to me.
Oh, you don't? Okay, let me do it right now.
I didn't get it
earlier.
Yeah, I didn't get it yet.
Okay, let me do it right now while we're talking.
Yeah, the link actually went out today, so a lot of people did get the link today. Billy, people hit me up and told me they got the link.
Oh, great!
So the actual link for the workshop went. Billy sent that out today. A lot of y'all got it, and a lot of y'all was just concerned about how to log in. Once again, you don't have to be a member of Forbidden Knowledge. You don't have to log in to Forbidden Knowledge to watch it. You just might have to log into Eventbrite using the email that you signed up with. That email that you signed up with is very important, y'all. Make sure y'all spell it right, because when them links start getting sent back to you, if it's not spelled right, you ain't gonna get it. So make sure the link, double check, make sure you put the right link in. Somebody says, how can I watch the replay? All right, I said earlier, I'm going to send a downloadable link within 2 to 3 days after the workshop to everybody. So you could download it on your hard drive. You could put it in your closet, in your sock drawer, wherever you want to put it. But there you will also be able to watch it on forbiddenknowledge.tv. You don't have to be a member. Go ahead, Billy.
I was going to say, the replay will be on the same link for people who log into Eventbrite. It'll be on the same link.
Indeed. All right, let's
All right.
Let's see. Tomorrow, baby.
Okay, got it. Here it says off air. Here's the link. I'm gonna send it to you right now.
All right, Billy. Somebody said, do we have to go through Eventbrite to watch it later?
Well, once you go, what I found, because of cookies, sometimes it'll recognize you and let you just watch it. Sometimes it may ask you to log back into Eventbrite.
Yeah, what do you call that? If you clear your cache or something?
Clear your
What's that?
cache. If you clear your cache, then you might have to log in again to Eventbrite.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to some more. Is it possible to just purchase the replay? Right now, I advise you divinely to buy the ticket before Saturday. We don't know what's going to happen after that. So even if you can't make it, I would just advise you to buy the ticket and watch it at a later day. But I can't answer. We don't know right now. But we're focused on January 7th because that's extremely important. And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah. And I just sent the link to you and Dr. B.
Okay.
By email.
All right. Let's see. Any more questions? Somebody says, can I log in a half an hour early?
You should be able to, but the show won't start. It'll just say off air. Once we start the show or this class, it'll then, just start playing automatically. You can be there waiting. Yes.
All right. Somebody wants to know, is this webinar for people who are just getting started on their journey or ones who have been on the journey for a while?
Both.
Absolutely both. Yeah. There's levels to everything.
See, some folks, the way I'm going to give the information is it's brand new. You're like in kindergarten, but some folks say, I already know that. But the way I'm going to give it, there's going to be pieces that even the best, the people who have studied most of their lives will be able to pick up on things. So like most of the things that I've studied most of my life, I'm going back and studying again. Like if you watch a movie, like if you watch, say, the movie, The Man Who Fell to Earth, every time you watch it, you're going to see something you didn't see. So people who say they know it all, you couldn't know it all because there's information coming through right now that never came through before right now because of where we're positioned. Even right now, because the sun, right, Sirius and the earth are in an alignment right now. There's information coming right because of that alignment that never came before, even the last time they were in alignment. Why? Because our whole solar system is moving through space. And I'm going to show you a picture of the spiral universe, a video. When you see this, you'll realize that the earth is not going around the sun. The moon is not going around the earth. That's the picture they gave you. Everything is spiraling around each other. Everything is a spiritual. We're living in a spiral universe. This is why you have to be spiritual or be spiritual and expanding, because if you just keep doing the same things over and over and over, you're not getting anywhere. You're like that little, the little gerbil going around and around, on the little wheel. You got a lot of muscles, but it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is we're going to give a lot of information in many different ways. And it's going to be, it's got to be kinesthetic, auditory, visual, and it's going to be many ways to teach. And even some of the physical exercises that I'm going to teach, let's say that you can't do the physical exercises for whatever reason. I also will show you how to do it in your mind. Did you know that if you could do something physically in your mind, your body does not know the difference?
That's a fact.
It's interesting.
Absolute fact.
That's
absolute fact. I was part of this study where they took 20 basketball players. 10, they took them to do the meditation of shooting free throws for 90 days, meditating on making every single free throw. And the other 10 were actually shooting the free throws for 1 hour every single day for 90 days. At the end, they had a competition. The ones that meditated on making every single shot, in other words, every single shot in their mind went through the net, they made more in real life than the ones who practiced for an hour every single day. Because the ones who practice every day, sometimes, guess what? That ball didn't go through the net. But the ones who thought about it and meditated and saw it going through the net every single time, they made more free throws than the people who actually physically did it.
And there was also another experiment where these people needed a knee replacement or knee surgery, right? So they took one set. They showed everybody the video of how the operation went. So they said, everybody's going to get it done. One group, they cut them open, cut the knee open, replaced the cartilage or whatever, cleaned it up, put in the, whatever they did to the knee, repaired it, and sewed them up. The next set, they made an incision and did nothing. The third set, they made an incision and sprayed water. The ones where they sprayed water and did nothing healed at the same rate, and some even faster than the ones who had the operation, because your mind is controlling everything. It's your perception. If you think the world is great and it's wonderful, it begins to create what I mean. We grew up sometimes in the hood. It was terrible, but in your house, it was you didn't know. Sometimes you didn't know that your parents were struggling and had to have help to pay bills. You didn't know, so you lived the life that the best life you could. But it's the knowledge, and sometimes when you have the knowledge and you're focused, that's that crystallized imagination, and you're focusing on winning, even if it seems like it feels like you're losing.
Yeah,
but you're a ninja. What does the ninja do? Always test themselves. The ninja, to stay a ninja, right? The ninja's going to go out and test. I must now go to the woods and I find Shaolin master and I fight him. Why are they always testing themselves?
Right.
Because the best always test themselves the most. The best are always tested the most. You will be tested. Don't you think that this life that the three of us or anybody's living is just simple and easy? I was challenged all day today. I was like, I don't know, man. Brother Rich is talking about a show tonight. I haven't slept. It's all kinds of stuff going on at the same time because there's such a great shift going on in the atmosphere. Right now, there's an energy because one age is declining and another age is beginning. So it's like when the plane goes from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere, at the equator, there's two different energy flows, two different air flows. If they don't hit that thing on the right angle, it'll tear the wings off the plane. So it's about your angle. So in life, you have to realize your angle has a lot to do with your attitude. To change your altitude, you got to change your attitude, which means you got to change your angle, which means you got to spark the angle of light, the angel of light that's already in you. And once you get that piece, you can do it over and over and over. And we'd like everybody to share in this knowledge and this new 2023-7 vibration where everything is wide open. Nothing is impossible unless you say so.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
So, Dr. B, your perception could be synonymous with angle. Like instead of saying perception, that's another angle of life that you have. Is that synonymous with it, do you think?
Well, angle has a lot to do with altitude, okay? So when I was really young, my father was like, you need to do something great. So he used to take me to the job, and they had this for the engineers at the job, their children could go learn how to be pilots. So they took me to the airfield, and I'm learning how to be a pilot, right? And I never became one because I hated it. I was scared, I was nervous. But they talked one day, and the teacher says, the attitude of the plane has to do with the angle that it's on. He says if the attitude is going down, the plane goes down. If the attitude is going up, the plane goes up. So the attitude, which is the angle, creates the altitude. So in order to get to higher states of consciousness, right, and get to the place, check this out. There's a place where there's no consciousness, nirvana. There's a place where you don't need to know nothing. You are just a part of it all. We actually are there. But we are so condensed right now, because we think it's all about our brain. And our brain is only big because we had to learn how to find food and survive. But when food was just growing and you lived in the forest, your brain wasn't that big. You didn't need it. You didn't need to know how to compete. So you get to a place where you can just get in that flow state. And when you're in that flow state, things begin to happen, right? But you've got to, get to this place where you can let go of your mind because most of your mind has been put on an angle and an attitude that you have to be responsible to change.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I'm very happy that you talking about, Dr. B, and I'm not sure if you're touching on it as well, Billy, is the subconscious. And the reason why I say that is because people have been asking a lot on different shows I have. They've been like, hey, on one show was with Blue Pill and another show was with might have been with Rod Hayes or another brother. They've been like, hey, I'm doing all this affirmation stuff, but nothing's happening for me. And what I find that's fascinating is that they say, tell me if it's right or wrong, that your wishes and desires, what you want, only consume about 5% of your day. The other 95%, the subconscious is running the show. So it's like we want something, but we have to go and change the actual program to get what we want. It's not just enough to just want or desire it. It's the subconscious programming. And I know Dr. B's doing a whole subconscious alignment on that. Go ahead, brother.
And I'm going to do this piece on the subconscious because I already know Billy's going to take the other end of it. I already, because, we're like connected in a very weird way. But check this out. You just said something. What you just said was the people are wishing and wanting. Want in your energetic field is the desire without action. People who want don't get it because your want. Listen to the sound of it. Wish, if you look up the etymology, it basically is a whoosh. This is why they tell you to close your eyes on your birthday and wish for something and blow out your own candles, right? If you knew about that ritual, what the cake represent, the candles, and why the cake is actually the female womb, that's the female womb with icing or frosting on it because they were trying to keep the woman from thawing out and waking up. Because once the divine feminine wakes up, this whole thing changes. So they're always attempting to do something to keep you cool, to keep you, give you little tricks and treats and, Cracker Jacks and, sugary this. So when you begin to change the language, and we're going to talk about that because I'm going to give a whole piece on the subconscious and the superconscious and how these things work together. When you change the language and stop wanting, you have to speak a language, right? If you're calling yourself a king or a queen or emperor or whatever, but you speak in the language with the poor, broken, lonely, that's no power. You see? So there is a special language that we speak. And, it's like when I hear Billy talk, he has this language. We be trying to sound cool and sound hood. See, that's a hood over you. That's why I'm saying you can't see. You see, but there's a way to speak, to command the universe in a vibratory rate that comes from the way the energy hits your mouth, your armature, the way you pronounce words, the way you come up from the diaphragm. Oh, this is like huge. And that language is the thing that is spearheading your journey, how you speak.
There's so much in the subconscious, and it's going to be such an incredible talk. I'm really looking forward to just even hearing your part of the workshop because, like I say, man, I'm a student of everyone and everybody. I learn from everything. And I'm looking forward to it. And I can't wait to talk about, the part where people have to get rid of self-limiting beliefs, and their obsession with what they're trying to manifest and the lack mindset. I was talking to somebody just recently about a situation that I was in a long time ago. And I brought it up on my last video. This is maybe 7-8 years ago. I met this guy who had a great idea for a product, and just didn't have the financial means to bring it to fruition and actually get it marketed. I had everything we needed to make it pop. I even had some people analyze the idea and the concept. I had a commitment for hundreds of thousands of dollars just for the first batch. It would have ended up being a multi-million-dollar a year opportunity. And this guy, it was one of these people with these mindsets. And the first thing he was saying, once he found out how much money his first check was going to be, this is before we even put anything in production. I've already got it done, the deal done. He goes, man, this means I'm going to have to pay a lot of taxes. I don't know if this is going to be a lot of tax liability. I have to pay a lot of taxes. I'm like, dude, if you're paying $100,000 in taxes, you're in a great position financially. Do you understand that? This is more money than you've ever made combined in your entire lifetime. Yeah, but it seems like it's going to be a lot of problems because then I got to file this and I got to have and I have to pay these taxes. And you know what I did? I packed up my stuff, my little attaché case, and I walked out. And he lost the opportunity because I can't be in business with somebody who has a mind full of lack and a lack of abundance. And so a lot of people, that's the subconscious, that's the self-sabotage kicking in, ready to help you destroy your own blessings.
Dr. B talked about
your very own eyes.
Dr. B talked about that on the previous show.
And let me say this much. A lot of clients that I saw over the last 30 years, they would come and they had these affirmations. They got them from church. They got them from a life coach. And I said, well, what is this? What is this affirmation? Well, it's this long thing. And I said, it ain't going to work. You know why? It's too long. The subconscious is like a 5-year-old. It needs to be something that's basic and simple and to the point. But a lot of times in the affirmation, the people are speaking of what they do not desire. In the affirmation, I don't want to be sick anymore. I don't want to be broke. See, you have to speak only of the thing that you're moving towards as if it's already happened. It has to be, and I'm going to give the way of speaking this way to create, a lot of folks, they're not aspirations. They're like aspirations. It's an ass, but you were taught to speak this and you don't know the language. And when you know the language and how to begin it and how to end it, when you learn this type of affirmation that I'm going to give you on Saturday, When you read it backwards and forwards, it's going to say the same thing. Because it's gotta be encoded for each side of your head. See, one side of your head speaks one language, and the other side speaks another language. But when they both come together, that's why some people are right-handed, some people are left-handed, some people are ambidextrous. When both sides of you gets it, and when you can score it like a movie, you're scoring, you're writing, and you could say this over and over and over and repeat it. And there's a time that you need to be saying it. You just can't say, well, I've been doing affirmations. I've done yoga. I've done, I took smoked the frog juice, and I went on. It was just took the tree of life down in the woods, and nothing changed. This all kind of stuff folks are doing. Every week they're doing something new. The thing is that you've got to learn this special code. Your computer has a code. It has an operating system. That's Oz, O-Z, that's an operating system. When you understand all these things, and first you understand, then you overstand. That sounds good, overstand. No, you're going to have to learn how to exostand. What is that, Dr. B? You need to stand outside of it. You're totally non-biased. You're not tripping. You're going to have to become the observer and watch without being emotionally attached to. That's me. It's not you. It's a program that can be changed. So that operating system has a lot to do with your language. It has to do with your thoughts and then your actions, because your thoughts become what? Your words become actions. Your actions harden into character. So when a person says it doesn't work for me, see, they're taking something personal and they don't know the right way to speak it into existence and then what to do each day. When you come upon that struggle, you're getting close. When you start climbing that mountain, you get to that mountain. Oh my God, I can just barely making it. But when you get to the last few feet, all of a sudden you get this energy. But people give up. It's too hard. It's too rough because you was programmed to think that you're a failure. It's not true.
You know what I noticed, y'all, since we was talking about this, the conscious, subconscious. We're talking about the avatar and the technology of the avatar, and we talk about the hemispheres of the brain, the right and the left, and your right and your left hand. Through playing basketball and through being a musician, a producer, I noticed my right hand has a different personality from my left hand. So my left hand will play notes differently. It'll make a different melody that my right hand wouldn't even think of making. So sometimes I put my left hand at the top of the keyboard just to play them high notes where my right hand usually is, and I'll come up with a different melody. Or I'll put my right hand where the bass notes is and my left hand's supposed to be, and it'll come up with a different bass. Or when I used to play basketball when I was younger, I noticed my left hand liked to do different moves. It would like to spin. My right hand would like to go between the legs. So talk to me about how does that's some deep shit right there. Your right and your left hand having different personalities.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that, you're talking about your left and your right hemisphere. You're talking about logic and creativity working in harmony. And so what you're experiencing is, and I'm ambidextrous, and I'm going to show that I'm ambidextrous. So I'm going to actually put a video up of me bowling left-handed, bowling right-handed, golfing left club, right club, shooting the basketball from all ranges, left-handed or right-handed, to show people that I'm not just telling you this is real. But it's something that can be worked on, something that can be mastered. But the brain is an actual orchestra and a symphony when you can get both sides working in harmony with each other. So right now, what you're saying is, when I do this with one hand and do this with the other hand, I got the two. You're tapping into different sides of the brain. So if you're doing something with your left hand, you're in your right mind. If you're doing something with your right hand, you're in your left mind, right? And so, but when you can get those two minds working together, which like Dr. B is talking about, teaching these techniques, now you've got an orchestra and a symphony, and everything is moving with cohesion. Now you can get some real work done because you have the best of both worlds functioning and operating. It's like bringing masculine balance with feminine balance and having it work together at the same time.
And you know what's interesting? A lot of people don't realize that they may have been born left-handed, but that wasn't good. Something about that was bad. Then somebody said, well, that was because, when the Europeans went to like some of the African countries and, people would wipe their behind with their left hand so they wouldn't shake with the right hand. So that was like, don't do that because, that hand could be dirty, right? So it somewhere it got to the point where you wanted your child to be right-handed. So you forced them. You made them become right-handed. You made them lean towards one way of being versus another way of being. It's easy to reverse this. You can reverse most of this in 28 days.
Yeah.
If you do something for a complete cycle, 28 days, right? You could change almost anything. So there's things like I'm a percussionist. So, even with my children, I'm teaching them, how to play conga drums. And the way I was taught, you got to be able to do the same thing with your right hand that you do with your left hand. At first, one side is arguing with you. It's a fight going on. It's a struggle. But after a while, this hand gets a flow that the other hand doesn't even have. So we do this thing in drumming, right, called mama papa. So mama, the mama is twice with the left hand, and the right hand is papa. And you always start with the feminine in drumming. Always start with the woman. So it's mama papa, mama papa, mama. And once you get them to sound the same, your brain begins to rewrite. You're going through a type of neurogenesis where the neurons begin to mirror each other. See, when you understand that you have these neurons that are mirroring what's going on in your world, when you begin to write with your other hand, called, and do this thing called transcoding. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden everything wakes up and you realize that you haven't even been using your whole spaceship. So you can't fly because you got one wing. One wing is flapping and the other one's straight. So these things of bringing it all together, and it's going to happen in this workshop because the parts of the brain, the mind, the spirit, and the soul that will be worked on because of the way Billy teaches, because of the way I teach. That's what makes this so unique, and I'm so excited. It's going to work on every part of you. We're going to have some fun. Dr. B's a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little out there sometimes. I'm wild. But then we get back and we get serious. There's going to be music and sound and tone and color. All these things are going to be working on bringing the best parts of you online. And keep in mind, whatever you learn, you're going to need to practice. You're not going to be, it may take till March 21st for you to begin to really get this thing. But if you stay with it, because repetition is how you got to where you're at. And that's how you're going to get out of it. Repetition.
Billy, I'm glad you talked about being ambidextrous. That's something that I'm teaching my son. I'm not going to let him just use one hand specifically. Nice. So a lot of things he does right now, I force him to use the left and the right hand. But let me show people so y'all know we're not just out here trying to sell y'all shit. So this is a little notebook I got. So I ran through my other notebook, but I have a notebook specifically. I have morning routines. One of my morning routines, since I've been taught to be right-handed, is write my affirmation with my left hand. So y'all can see it's a little sloppy. It says Richard Merritt is the best in the world, and it's a little sloppy. This is my left hand. So my left hand is learning how to write clearer and clearer and clearer every day. But every morning I start out and I use my left hand, activate the left side or the right. No, the left you said is the right. Right?
Yeah. If so you're using your left, you're in your right mind.
So I do that. I do that every morning, and I do it with an affirmation. I ran through one whole notebook, and I went to Staples. It's a brand new notebook, y'all. Nice. And I just got this, and I started from the last page. I didn't start from the first page. I started from the last. So listen, we practice it.
Yes.
I'm not only the president, I'm the client as well, y'all.
I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
Oh, man. So this is fun. Yeah, go ahead, Dr. B.
There's one exercise that's fun. Actually, my assistant was here today, so I actually filmed him doing the exercise. He had never done it. He did the exercise, so I filmed it so I could show it to y'all on Saturday. This exercise that you're going to do each day changes the game. It's so simple. When you see, you're like, wait a minute. But it activates both sides of the brain, the visual cortex, the auditory cortex, your entire nervous system, your vagus nerves, your sympathetic nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system. For the first time, they agree. When everything agrees, even if you could get your mind, body, the spirit, and all your geosphere, your magnetosphere, if you can get all them to agree for 7 seconds, check this out. 7 seconds. Every day, everything changes. Just 7 seconds. Is that all it takes? Because a 1% change over time becomes 100%.
That's right.
But you do this one thing, then you turn it into 14 seconds. After 14 seconds, the subconscious says, "Uh-oh, we got a new program. record. After 21 seconds, it says, all right, make it indelible. Start pressing it into the neocortex. Start telling the nervous system to actually pick this up and transpond it through the system. Then when you go 28, you get to 28, it's in your body. Now the issue is in your tissues. And you will never forget it.
Is in your tissue.
Because most of your issues are in your tissues.
Right.
The subconscious is not in your head. It's too big. Do you know how much information this is? It can't be stored in your body. It's stored in your body. It's stored in the biosphere around you, the magnetosphere. It may even extend out like 50 feet. You know what I'm saying? It's all around you. Your whole system is the computer system. The hard drive is all around you. And I'm so glad that Billy said it. This whole thing is based on crystals, shadows, light. Once you get it, it's like the aliens. Some of them are you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, was something in the room. That was you. You scared yourself to death the other night. Oh my God. They were standing at the end of my bed. That was you. From a whole nother perspective, a whole nother place. It might have been the future. You coming back saying, look, man, you better get out of that class and get out in nature and go put your feet on the ground and get grounded. So it's beautiful that we're able to do this. And I'm thankful to both of you and everyone who's going to be involved, and all the clients and all the people who are ready, and the seekers who are really going to do the work. And even those who are out there who are haters, that's okay. Come. It's all right. Because you're going to have a shift no matter what.
Yep. That's right.
Man,
I didn't do everything.
I didn't even know we've been on here for about an hour and 30 minutes.
Man.
I didn't even know. We about to get out of here, family. It's coming. We didn't warn you. We've been telling y'all since November. History is being made, family. Saturday, January 7th from 11 a.m. to I don't know how long. It depends on when Billy decides to stop. But I mean, don't miss it, y'all. January 7th. The people from all over the world, Brazil, Panama, United Kingdom, Japan, Italy, Africa, South Africa, what's the other place? Kenya, so many places, family. Canada,
Lyra, Vega, Sirius, Orion. You know, they're gonna come. Everybody wants to know this, but it's like, hey man, the Nomoses, they done came back.
They tapping in. They all tapping in.
Shout out to Nomos, man, for coming through and bringing that info on the Dogon that we use to this day.
Yes.
That's right. Till this very day. Absolutely. Man.
We're gonna do one last question about the workshop before we get out of here. One last question about the workshop. Wow, man, this is excellent. Give me one last question specifically about the workshop, family.
I'll answer one that I did see while you're looking for one. I saw somebody say that they had signed up for Forbidden Knowledge TV, and it was in one of our previous workshops and loved watching it on Roku, and they want to know if they can watch this one on Roku. Yes, after you buy your ticket, you'll be able to pull it up and watch it on Roku as well.
Oh, somebody said, wait, where's it at? Because somebody had asked me this earlier. Can we log into the workshop directly from the 4BK app if we have an account and bypass Eventbrite?
No, you have to go through Eventbrite to watch this. This is a separate link just for this particular event. So you have to go through Eventbrite. Okay,
all right. Yeah, let me that wasn't the one I was gonna ask. This is the one. Where's it at? Are y'all gonna talk about strengthening memory?
Oh man, that's one of the. I know Dr. B is gonna touch on it. I'm touching on that as well. There's so much you can do to help strengthen your memory, make your recall capability much better. If you notice how myself and Dr. B, we get into the zone and we flow, and the information and knowledge that we've studied and learned, it just comes up. Why is it coming up? Because our recall capability is very high. And I'm sure he can talk about the herbs and everything else that he has and how that's going to help strengthen the way that your mind processes information, as well as some of the techniques I'm going to show you that I've used, including speed reading and learning how to speed read, learning how to challenge yourself with audiobooks and physical books. One of the techniques I'm going to teach you is how I read a physical book and listen to an audiobook at the same time. 2 different books, and I still retain. I have about 75 to 80% retention on that, and I'm going to teach you that technique.
it's going to be deep because, Billy, see, I got to watch Billy this weekend. I was just kind of quiet watching him because I wanted to make sure that, I said, I'm not sure if he's from here. And it hit me. None of us are from here. We're being projected from somewhere else. And these avatars, this is just a suit that we got on. This is your Earth suit. Mm-hmm. But when you realize that there's a lot, as long as you open yourself up and say, I am ready, willing, and able to change and to grow. Mm-hmm. You see, and, I had terrible memory. I was unteachable in school. They said I was dyslexic. Basically, back in the day, I think they called it a little retarded or special. They, I got kicked out of school, basically. The algebra was it for me. I was like, oh, I don't need to know the unknown number. I need to know what I'm dealing with right here. Like some lady told me when she says, well, hi, are you Dr. B? I said, yeah. She says, I want to give you a free life pass reading. I said, lady, I don't need to know nothing about no other life. I got enough going on in this life. I don't need to know. Let me just deal with this one. She was like, no, because that has a lot to do with it. I said, lady, so if I can't fix it, okay, if I was Wolfman in the other life, what am I supposed to do now? Is that why I have trouble, when I drive by the chicken shack, my mouth waters? Come on. We got to deal with this, what's in front of us. And right here, what's in front of us, if we can just calm down. That's why I'm telling you to come to the class. You have to have a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper. Because as you punch those numbers on the computer, more and more of your memory, it goes. Because you're not, the subconscious doesn't even know what you're doing. What is those? It's all the same thing. But when you're moving your hand, your handwriting, your signature, when you're using all the different parts of your left hand, your right hand, you see, and you're listening to music and you're dancing and you're moving, you see, instead of just sitting there just living on the internet. People live on the internet. The preacher told me he's marrying folks online now. Since people didn't even meet. You could, you met somebody, they're in Tanzania online and you're in, Jamaica and y'all having, what's happening? Whoa. You're talking about some artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So once you begin to do it, because what's going to be important is you're going to receive information. You're going to have to play back the class many times, maybe in sections. Sometimes when I'm watching a movie, I'll stop it and play back the information over and over and over and over. Then I'm going to, I'm not going to just keep going. When I'm reading a book, I will read a paragraph over and over. Because they said I was dyslexic, I had to learn how to read it. So I've got to read it over and over and over. And actually, I found out I'm not they're dyslexic. The school system is dyslexic. The government is dyslexic. The things that these people do, why would you do something that's going to destroy our actual environment? Cars used to run on weed. Ford made a car made out of cannabis, the whole car. And it ran on, corn and, weed stems that folks throw away. Right? He made a car, which wasn't polluting. People missed the bus, the weed bus, the smoke coming out the back. People was chasing the bus, getting a little high. I'm joking. But my point here is that why would you change up and go to a fuel that is killing people? Why would you do all of these things? Because it's about money. It's about business. It's about commerce. And that's based on greed. So what you're going to learn on Saturday is the difference between greed and aspiration. What will you do? Because once you have, like we were talking earlier about your affirmation, usually it's about what I want. I want to have a blah, 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 blah. There's a piece missing. And when you put this piece on the end of it, which has to do with helping others, all of it opens up. When you get out of me and I and get into we, what are we doing together? So we're here together as we. Yeah. And we're all a living liquid crystal. This is a liquid crystal because even though each of us can move and go different places, we're still joined together. We're still on in this oneness. So it's beautiful. It's a great thing for us to do this. And I'm just want to thank everybody who's already joined up and those who who are here, ready, willing, and able at this time to change the vibratory rate of the entire planet We're going to do that on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
With that being said, family, it's going down Saturday, January 7th, 2023. Billy Carson, Dr. B Sirius, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it, family. Y'all seen the conversation we had today, and we just having a good time. They going super deep. And not just deep. You know, they're going to be deep. It's going to be so much wisdom. It's going to be so much knowledge. It's going to be so enlightening. You're going to be so full of energy after all those hours. You're going to think you didn't sit there that long. So I want to thank everybody once again for everybody who signed up. It's important to support those who come with some information like this. And y'all show us that y'all interested in this. So we'll have more things like this on this frequency available for y'all in the future. And with that being said, thank you to everybody. Love and light. Peace.
Travel light.